Hello, it works? Ah, yeah, you can hear me. Perfect. Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Shukran. First, I'm really happy to be here. So I want to thank Joachim and all the Nuqat girls for inviting me. And I'm really happy to be here and to share all these things I've learned through the years because I'm old and with you. And I want to do a special shout out to Dana. Where is she? Dana? Because it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Dana. I don't know where she is. She's not here. You have to say that to her, Tala, that we did the... So, the subject of this presentation is the lost city of Arabesque. And you know, it's what I say when I was in Dubai. It's something, when you say lost city of Arabesque, it means that we lost something and we're trying to find it. And we don't know where it is. And we don't know what it is, what city it is, and where we can find this city. I mean, for you, yeah, well, I don't know. And you know, it's like a question, where is this city? What is this city? So with this presentation, I will try to show you my way of thinking, what I've learned during those years in the school, the design school I was in France, in Morocco, through my product and everything I create. I will try to show you all that and to try to find this lost city of Arabesque. So first you have to know me a little bit. So you see I've got the French accent, and perhaps I will not find all the words because my English vocabulary is a bit low. So we're going to do a game sometimes. I will ask you a few words if I don't find them. And so my father is French, my mother is Moroccan. I was born in Morocco, in Casablanca. I lived in France a little, like 20 years. I studied in Paris, then I came back to Morocco, in Marrakesh. And now it's 6 years since I live in Marrakesh and since I have my design studio there. And, you know, I have an uncle called Khalid Jamai, and he's one of my favorite uncles, and he's saying this phrase, this sentence, and you know, it's a type of guy who always have like really nice sentence. You want to keep them because it's really smart. And it's a bit crazy, but he said that to me, the curiosity to leave the abuse. And it's something which is really important for me because it defines all of my creation, the way I see things, and it's really something important. And you will see during my presentation that it's something I use a lot. I really use a lot. So when I was in this school, you know, I studied many things. The design, the history of design, the process of thinking a product, how to create new products. And there is one thing I wanted to do and to add since the presentation I've done in Dubai. It's the design, industrial design, product design, and the history of design. Because I find something different, so I wanted to share with you. Because here is the kind of book. I wrote 10,000 of them, but here is the kind of book the school asked us to learn of history of design. So I don't know why this book is pink. You know, it's perhaps because they talk about design, so design pink. Wow, yeah. But I don't know. But still, it's a great book where you can learn many things about design and the history of design. So first, we're going to talk about this. Design and history of design, and I'm going to tell you what I think about it, my point of view about design, but we need to go from the basic. So the definition of industrial design, it's the definition you can find in Wikipedia, and I find it really, really great. I will just say that it's really about mass production, mass-produced products. It's really about industrial. And there is this aspect of producing an element in many times, in many, comment on dit, you understand what I mean. Like, you know, this repetition of a product and to mass produce the product. So it's really this idea. It's really about industry. So in history of design, we talk about the first design creation, even if it's architecture, in 1851 with the Crystal Palace of William Paxton. Why? Because it's the first who standardized a structure, you know, an element, an architectural element structure in metal, and he produced this element, the same element, to have this palace. So why? It's because he had to produce this place in 4 months. So imagine the size of it, and only 4 months to make it. So it's the action of standardizing the process of making this that helps to have this palace in such short period of time. So that's why we talk about design, because it's like mass production. One element who bring this place. And then from 1851 to 1914, we were in a period of time about arts and crafts. And I love this chair about Michael Tonnet, who is like for me, and the other one of Louis Majorel, it's a light, Nénuphar. Because for me, it's like the best artisan who create like, you know, the knowledge about what they do, the way they do it, and it's like the perfection for me. And it's iconic from this period. And then from 1940 to 1939, we talk about really design, the invention of design, of product design. Because those chairs are produced or mass produced, and it was the thinking of how we can design a chair with choosing elements easily, where we can produce them easily, to have them like not expensive, quickly, mass-produced, etc., etc. So it's the first time in 1940. Then, from 1939 to 1958, we talk about contemporary design, the new design. We get rid of this only technical aspect, and we try to think about the form, about the usability of a product. Then, the pop years in 1958 to 1972 with Werner Pantone. Everybody knows the Pantone chair. You know, it's funny because this chair, I see clients who say, oh, I love this chair. You know, you don't know this new chair called Pantone, and it's not new, it's 1968, so it's timeless. It was creating during this period of time. 1973 and 1981, an alternative design. And from 1981 to now, it's eclectic and virtual design. We talk about eclectic design from 1981 to 1989, and then 1989 to now, it's more about virtual design. Everything what I just said, those period of time, are in this book, you know? Now really, so I put a timeline where I put all those periods of time. But the thing, and I can tell you that I read lots of books like that, they never talk about the history of humanity or the economical history in the same time. They just talk about design, but design for me, it's for people. I mean, like, if there is not the history of people using the product, you don't know. It's like, okay, you have time to time, period of time, but you don't really understand what they are. So I put another layer that is the history of people, the human history. And then another layer, which is the economic history of humanity. And what I realize, and we start to think a bit more about what I just said, it's like every new period of time in design starts by a crisis, a war. Every new period. And you can check, you know, when I've done it, I was like, no. Like, the invention of design, First World War. The contemporary design, Second World War, etc., etc. You can continue, alternative design, etc., etc. It's every period of design starts with a war or a crisis. Economic crisis, war, a crash. And then innovation and creation. It's like coming from nothing. And what I've learned about it, it's like, for example, because we talk about industrial design, why we can say that the invention of design starts with the First World War. It's because we mass produce death. Really, that you have to understand that. We mass produce death. What we wanted to do is to kill more people than our opponent. It's the word opponent, huh? So we try we take our industries, we create those industries to make bullets, to make weapons. But when the war is done, you have huge industries, you don't know what to do with it. So you start doing cars, you start doing refrigerators, you start doing new things. So that's amazing. You can read books, nobody tell you about that. I try, perhaps you find one, but me, in this pink book, well, nothing. And it's like something really amazing for me. And there is one example. You know the Beetle? You know this car? Made in 1938 by Ferdinand Porsche. You know who is the creator of the Beetle? It's Adolf Hitler. No, it's true. What I just said is really true. It's Adolf Hitler who asked Ferdinand Porsche. We know that he created a brand like everybody want a Porsche, but he worked for Adolf Hitler, and it's one of the creation of Adolf Hitler. So it's to take, and this same car, in 1999, won a prize of the best car creation, the fourth, of the best, you know what they say, the most influential car the most influential car of the 20th century, the new Beetle Type 1 came forth after the Ford Model T, etc. So imagine that nobody knows that, we don't say that, but it's true. So crisis, suddenly new things, etc., etc. But what you see just now, again, it's like we only talk about when we say the history of humanity, we only talk about few people, actually. Now, it's true. Like, from now, we just talk about Western countries. You know, the First War, the Second War, etc., etc. So design was created by Western countries. Product design, industrial design. So my question was, for us, what about the Arab world thinking this way, if we put the layer of the Arab world? And suddenly, I find something completely different. But it was really interesting to have this layer. So the history, it's really hard. I try, internet, books, etc. You don't have all the information. Because we were colonized by Western countries until 1954, 1956. For Morocco, it was 1956. Our independence was in 1956. It's like 60 years ago. So we were like on the colonization of Western countries. So it was hard to do our thing and to work and to etc., etc. And after that, we were under Western and Eastern imperialism. So again, we couldn't like really express ourselves. It was difficult for us to express ourselves. We didn't have the same history. So when we talk about design, industrial design, product design, the way we are and our history, it's so different that for us, design, product design, industrial, must be different. You know what I mean? And since 1989, it's what I call the neo-Orientalism with the Arab Spring, we can see that there is something new. It's not like a crisis. We are not in a crisis, but we are in a period of time where new things happen. I don't want to be like political or anything because I don't care about that. It's just, it's not that I don't care, it's just I talk only about creation and innovation and design. But we are in a new period of time where there is lots of innovation and creation in the Arabic world because we are a young population. You know, it's the demography, the yellow one, it's the Western countries, and the green one, it's our countries. The average age of the Arab countries, it's 25 years old. We are young, so there is many things can happen and will happen. And what is amazing to see, it's like we are right now, what we are living now, it's a perfect combination for creation and innovation. If we look at the history of design, product design, in Western countries, and we compare the event, we can see that now we are in a perfect combination because everything is bringing together to say all the lights are green and say, okay, now there is a period, we live a period where we are going to do new things. We are going to create new things. Why I wanted to talk about that, and you will understand after, because it's a bit perhaps complex, but there is, I don't know if Salem is here, but he said something really, really interesting about our identity. He said like it's a redefinition of our identity. And I like this phrase, this sentence, because for me, identity and my cultural Arabic side and identity, it's not like a rock I carry. It's more like a lens I see through. You understand? Every one of you who are going to see through this lens will see things differently. But it's not something we have to carry. It's something like who help us to see things differently. So now, because of all that, because of all this thinking aspect and theory, I just, you know, I was working on, etc. I'm going to show you through my way of working, the way I create products, that finally it brings everything new. The way we work, the way we create product, it's new. So I live in Marrakesh. Here is a beautiful photo of Jamal Fna, and in Marrakesh. And in Marrakesh, I live in the souk, close to the souk, and I love the souk. And again, you have to know that I studied in France in a design school where they teach me this history of design, and where they teach me a process of thinking, like to project yourself in the future. You know what I mean? Like you have to think a product now that will be used in 3 or 4 years. So imagine, like you're not like, you don't know what's going on in 3 or 4 years, but still you have to think about the product that will be helpful for people in the future. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you create product, and 3 or 4 years after, you realize that it didn't didn't go the way you wanted to. You think it will go, and there is this magic marketing and communication helps to sell a project, even if it's not even if it's useless. Ouais, c'est ça. It's not useful. You think that it's like the product you need. So there is this trick. But they really teach you that, the process of thinking a new product in the future. But as Moroccan, when I went to the souk and I worked to the souk, and there is another fun fact, it's in French, there is the French dictionary, they said that the souk also means disorder. And for me, it's not a disorder. It's perfectly made. You know, that's why I say curiosity to leave the obvious. It's like what I've done with the history of design, I've done it with the souk. And what I realized, that it's perfectly organized. When every aspect of the product is inside of a souk. The production, the reseller, every aspect of a product is inside of the souk. So it's really nice, because if you want to change something on the souk, for example, it's raining or something like that, you just have to ask the guy, and the guy will say, okay, it's raining, I'm going to do a shoes for you, look, or if you want to have another way, another style. It's really easy, so it's really smart on the thinking process. Economically, sociologically, it's amazing. It's really, really strong. And there is another thing I've seen in this souk. There is no like, comment on dit? I've got my red seasonal range. You know seasonal range, the summer, winter product. You know, you don't have like we are in winter now, close to winter. You don't have the product for summer, for next summer. You know, you don't have the range of this next summer, the range of the next winter. You don't have that. No, really, like you see that in France, in Zara, H&M and all that, but in maybe big brand and stuff, but in Morocco, in the souk, you don't have that. They don't project themselves in the future. You know? No, but it's true. Like, no, but c'est vrai, c'est vrai. So it's something amazing for me, you know? And I say, why? Because if they don't project themselves in the future, they need to be able to produce anything now. Like, you want something? Okay, let's do it. And there is something really strong from that. It's the common sense. They are really strong for that, the common sense. You want something, we see something, some things happen, okay. We plan, we change, we arrange, we modify, and suddenly you have something. It's not like, no, we can't do it, man, because it's closed. It's always open product. You can change. And the common sense, it's something I love because it's the bottom line of design, of creativity, of innovation. It's the way you see things. And I love the definition in the Cambridge Dictionary because we all need to help us live in a reasonable and safe way. But to understand this common sense and all that, we have to understand one thing. It's a new picture, this one. Because we have to understand, when I talk about the common sense, marketing and communication. Now, I don't know if there is marketer or people from communication and, look at that. Like, we have that in Morocco. Like, you have streets and you have people who sell watermelon. And what is the best way for you to stop to buy the watermelon? You will buy a watermelon just to talk to this guy. No, because it's amazing. It's like, and for me, they have nothing, no money. But they know how to do it. Because there is this trick of making people laugh, of attirer l'attention, like bringing the eyes on them and all that. So it's all about communication. It's all about people. It's all about common sense. I've got another picture I want to show before finishing. And this picture, I love it. No, I love it. Yes. No, I love it. I love it. No, but it's true. It's amazing. No, but you laugh about the picture we just saw and this one, but it's so smart. No, but it's smart. Imagine if you were in Western countries, they will put cameras, boxes with locks to have your sandals, for people not to take your sandals. He took a lock on the sandals. Okay, let's go. No, but you understand that he's fed up about. He doesn't want you to take his sandals. Non, mais you understand, quoi. It's meaning. Enfin, tu vois, quoi. On comprend, quoi. Voilà. And I'm sure what is the funniest thing in this picture, and I'm sure that the lock cost more than the sandals themselves. But it works. It works. It's common sense, basic. I don't want to have my sandals taken. The lock, done. Designers, look, best designer ever. Werner Pantone. Voilà. But what is the bottom line? What I just said before showing these pictures. It's inshallah maktub. In our culture, we have the inshallah, we have the maktub. So the inshallah, if God wants maktub, it was written. So we don't project ourselves in the future. No, it's exactly the same at the first part. It was a bit heavy, but you understand. It's exactly the same at the first part. We see things, we are different. We can't, the process of thinking a product can't be the same. Our design can't be the same. We don't have the same history. We are not the same. It doesn't mean that we can't do design, but it's what I say, it's a length. We do design another way. It's really disturbing, taking a picture. No, you can continue, but inshallah maktub, and it's really strong. So from that, it's completely changed the aspects because you have what I call space-time. So in Occidental country, we talk a lot about space-time. It's how fast you can go from a point A to a point B. When you take the TGV in France, you say, it takes me 2 hours to do 60 kilometers. So it's every time we talk about time and how fast we can go. But us, because the time is something different, It's more about relationship with people. For example, I've got my little white guys and orange guy. When in Western countries, you are the orange guy. What is the fastest way to go from the A to the B? Yes, straight line. Yeah, but you are not talking to anyone. You're not talking to anyone. You go from A to B. But when you're in the souk, in the Medina, and you want to have a product, you never know where it is. So, in our country, we go and meet people and say, hey, what's up, salam alaikum, do you know where I can find this, and you talk, and it takes more time, because if you rush, it will never work. But it takes time, but you go from one guy to another guy, and you talk, and you talk. But the cool thing about it, every person you connect with will bring information to you. It will bring knowledge. You know, not only just the information you wanted to have, but many other informations. And it's strong, like it's really strong, because it makes the relationship with people, with objects, the process of thinking a product, totally different. When I was in the school, in my design school, when they teach me the history of design and product design and how to create really cool product for people, every time you had this time thing. Every time. Think in the future what people are going to use. Go fast because they need to go from one point to another point, like fast, etc., etc. When you see commercial in Occidental country, there is one thing again, like curiosity. When you see commercial, it's only for one people. When they sell a product, it's only for the woman. It's only for the man. It's only for the one children. It's not for a range of people, a population of people. It's for just one. Because if you sell to one people, you sell more product than a group of people. So they divide everything, and it's one. Us, it's different. So from that, it's completely a new way of thinking a product and designing a product and make creation. So again, I'm going to show you some of my works, and you will see, for example, the way I work. Because I try to work like the artisan in the souk, because they are really inspiring me, even if I don't produce stuff with them, because I'm in industrial product design, but it's like the knowledge you have it's just amazing. But I really try to create a product from what I see just now, without putting myself in the future, without trying to think what people will need in the future. And for my school, again, the last project of my school was to design a product. And I designed a tricycle because when I was in Marrakesh, I realized that people in Marrakesh changed the aspect of the bicycle because it didn't work for them. They didn't need the same functionality that the bicycle proposed. So I just looked to the bicycle. I say, if it doesn't work this way, perhaps I can make it another way. You know, I can try to think differently. But instead of putting myself in the future, I just find problematic, and from this problematic, trying to find the best form who can fit the problematic right now, without thinking about on the future. And, wait, I've designed this tricycle called the Belek, with many different parts of functionality for people. I made a prototype of it and everything, and it works very well, etc. But the thing is and it works really well. You have different modularity, you can put the tricycle down. I'm not going to explain everything. There is everything on my website, so you will have all the explanation of the product. But the way I thought the product, it's more interesting than the product himself. And when I present that to my school, it was kind of new because, you know, I was really basic. Problem, solution, done. And I was the first in my school, and they give me the diploma, like the strongest one, etc. And what I realized is, you know, I thought that perhaps the way I was creating project and product, was just my own way, and perhaps it didn't fit for everyone. You know, it was, I remember I called Decathlon saying, okay, I'm working on a product, do you want to work with me? And they said to me, listen, Younes, we've done every tricycle ever, you will never be able to be innovative and creative with a tricycle. I tried to explain them this new process of thinking, didn't care. And 1 year after the production of the creation of this tricycle, I won in France the prize of innovation and creation. It was the first time, thank you very much. No, but it was the first time that a Moroccan product designer won a prize of innovation and creation, and with a different way of thinking the product. You understand what I mean? I didn't use the things my school told me to use. You know, I tried to make it my own way with what I am. You know, the length, voilà. And so for me, it was strong because it means, you know, I had 26 years old. So for me, it means it works. It works. We can. I didn't want it to do that, but we can do our own product. So I started to create many things because, you know, it's like on this thing. This is really technical. But I created the Zeli, the bookshelf. So it's the Arabic pattern, Arabesque, that I put on a bookshelf with this form, this round form, etc. Alors, it's been published, in different shows, magazines, so one price also. But the cool thing about this product, because when you see the product, you say, yes, pattern, bookshelf, cool. No, mais c'est vrai, c'est vrai. But the thing is like, it's how it's produced with really nice. You don't need screw or nails, j'ai les tournevis là. And you don't need glue, you don't need anything. It's 8 times, the same structure. So you have one basic structure, a moule, and you put all these elements together and you have your bookshelf. Easy to carry, easy to produce, beautiful. And it's been published on the 256 best bookshelf in the world of these last 10 years. You know, I was in Beaubourg, I opened the book and I saw my bookshelf in the books. I was like, yes. You know, it's a little moment where you're like, okay, it works. And it's a key system, like really Arabic also. If you go to Essaouira in Morocco, they have all those boxes, you know, with trick you try to open. And it's like the key system, really mathematical. I let the video because it's, we have time. With a beautiful song. And what is cool, it's this product is, there is school in Morocco where the teacher teach that to their students, that the mathematics of Arabesque and how you can decompose the Arabesque to have the form. 2 minutes 30 to build the bookshelf. And it's what I like about this bookshelf. It's not only because it's a shape, it's a form, it's a pattern, it's the idea behind, you know, the process of thinking everything. Voilà, the last one, and it's done. And I will show you the other products I made since. Because this product was created just after in 2006. The tricycle was in 2005, and this bookshelf in 2006. You see, I'm young. Voilà. Voilà. Merci. Merci. Bon, après, I put it up. It's easy. You will see. Voilà. I'm a strong guy. Look. Oh. We don't need the music anymore. Thank you. Voilà. Youpla. Voilà. Super. Voilà, you see. Okay. So you see, no nails, no screw, anything. One form, one shape, 8 times. and you have the bookshelf at the end. And I find the form as interesting as the process of making it, of building it. Voilà. And then, voilà. And then from that, I've designed the mini bookshelf on exactly the same idea of taking the pattern, working with this pattern, and trying to make a different form, putting it on the wall. And Sergio Rossi came to me, and they saw you know Sergio Rossi, the shoes girls. Yeah, you know it. Huh? And they came to me and say, we love your bookshelf. We want to have that for a shop. I say, okay. So, but here I wanted to make like more 3D, like deconstruct the form and making it completely 3D. And the funny things, again, like les préjugés. When I've designed this, the guy, 1,369 elements, 120 meters of wires, okay? And when I've designed it, I've been to Italy to show my work, and they say, we love it, but Moroccan people will never be able to produce that. No, really, they say that to me. Huh? Never be able. Look, it's too complicated. 1 month, and they produce this piece. Perfect, perfect. So I was really happy to show them that it's not the problem of Moroccan or not. It's just when you do things properly, you have the product at the end. No problem. And on the same aspect, because I was in a period of time where I was working on the pattern, I've designed this restaurant called the Hazard. And again, it was, you know, you see those walls, and I use a plaster mold with the 3D form, and with the light, it brings the pattern out of the wall. And it's what sometimes I say to my client, it cost, the price of those walls was less than $1,500. So nothing for all the walls. So it's always the good idea, taking the idea, making things different, and suddenly you have the product. And when I worked with the artisan to build that, it was really interesting, because the way they project themselves in the structure, in the mold, in the shape, in the pattern, the exchange we had on the creation was really rich. So another picture of the restaurant. This is the roof of the restaurant. And it's a mix. I wanted to mix a bit everything. And from this, I've designed this chair. From the restaurant, I've designed this chair called la chaise pouf. And it was to take the traditional pouf and to make it different with a new ergonomic shape, etc. So it was more about the line, round, thin. And then I've designed this club, the Hanout, and with those camera heads on the wall. And there is one thing I want to say, because you know I share the experience. You have all these products in my website. It's not a problem. But you know, I remember it's exactly in 2008 when I've done this. I went to Abu Dhabi for the design arts Abu Dhabi, and they were the design thing. And I met Martin Bass for a presentation, a lecture, and it was a panel of designers with Martin Bass, me, and other designers. And Martin Bass couldn't stop saying, yeah, but you have a problem with your identity, you have a problem with your culture, because you always use things from your culture. It means that you have a problem with your identity. Why always using a pattern? Why are you always using a calligraphy? I say, man, you're cool, man. I'm cool. But when Stark designed this chair, you know, the Ghost, Louis XVI chair in plexiglass, anybody told him that he has a problem with the French culture. Everybody said, wow, it's amazing. The Louis XVI, iconic of the French culture. In the plexiglass, they said, amazing. You understand? And us, if we use a pattern of Arabic things, suddenly we have a problem of our identity. And I said to him, it's not us who have a problem with our identity, it's you who have a problem with our identity. Me, I don't have any problem. I lived in houses with those patterns, with everything. Yeah, with camels also. So I play with everything because it's from my lens. I see through that, so I use that. No, but it's true. Thank you. And it's going to be more funny, huh? It will come. And from this club I've designed, using the pattern, the idea of the colors and everything, I played with those camera heads. You know, many people have done it, but I had 5 French artists and 5 Moroccan artists who work on the camera heads, and I had like really cool, like Mist, Sébastien Préchou, Alex Wan, famous graffiti designers, French graffiti designers, and Moroccan designers who came, and I had this combination of different way of seeing the sculpture, and I loved that. And the cool thing, during the opening, we had Marion Cotillard and Guillaume Canet who came for the opening. It was in a little dirty street, inside of a gallery, and they came. But it's nice because it shows that what we can do, it's really interesting for other people, for what is it around us. You understand? And again, we can create things, we can use our stuff because it's suddenly the way we do things are different and perhaps will bring another aspect of this design and product design. And again, in this same idea, you know, I thought myself, because sometimes it happens, that palace in Morocco, you know, all these zilij, gebs, the wood, the wood with the sculptural wood, it's beautiful. But me, the street of Morocco, I love it. You know, the motobécane, bicycle, the sound, the smell. I love it. And I say, that's beautiful. Why not putting that inside of the house? So I went out, took pictures, and make huge stickers for houses where you have like the guy on the donkey, all those stuff, because I love it. It's beautiful. And it works. No, really, it works. I have lots of people who ask me for those stickers because they put it in their house, and it's like, it's the atmosphere of our Arab countries. And I think it is as beautiful at what we make, you know, the artisan, the shape, the mosaic, and everything. And from this mosaic, I've designed those plates, and that was cool also. Everything is cool. And sorry. But it was cool also because, vraiment, it's a French company who called me saying, yes, it's the first time we're going to work with another designer than our French designer. I said, yeah, cool, again. And we're going to present you a French cooker, tu sais, un chef, quoi, chef. And 2 stars, Michelin, etc. And we designed those plates, and the idea was to use the zilij. You know, it's normally it's colorful, a zilij. And the idea was to make plates black and white, and the food will bring the color, you know? So it's the creation of the chef who brings the colors to the plates. And it works really well. We had like a huge coverage of media, and what is so funny, it's the restaurant, not the restaurant, the hotel called Club Méditerranée. I don't know if you know this, it's big. And they bought the concept and they use it for buffet. So it works, again, you know, with this idea of pattern and colors. I've designed this teapot also, iconic in its form, in this shape, like basic industrial process called extrusion. So it's like, again, making things different, looking at things differently. And I've designed this tray also. This tray. So this idea of this tray is completely black, and when you put hot stuff on top of it, the pattern appears with the warmth of the tea. And it was to celebrate the tea time in Morocco, and to make it traditional when you make the traditional tea. So suddenly you have this shape coming. And it's nice because it helps you to know if your tea is hot or not. So it's functional as well. No, it's true, it's functional. And I've made this, I love this product, but it's more complicating to understand. You know, I will try. Les radiateurs. you know, there is a trend now with radiator, like ecological radiator. You understand? And they are ugly. No, when I say ugly, it's like, you know, with oil and stuff, and it's like ugly. And me, I know, I've seen, like in Morocco, we have the canoon we use in house and stuff like that. It's beautiful. Huh? It's ecological, perfectly ecological. And I say the form and the way they work, it's perfect. And so I take seeds, you know, from cherry. Ouais, c'est ça? Merci. And the seeds from cherry, because it's comment on dit, thermic. In the time, it kept the warmth during the time. So I made those little coussins, pillow with seeds inside, and this form. And you have the light. The light indicates the warmth if it's hot or not. And when you touch it, it's on. When you touch it, it's off. You can change the warmth of the things. It's round, and you can take those little pillow with you, and you have this element where you have everything inside. You can take those pillows with you. They are warm. When they are cold, you put it inside, so it can be close to a bed, close to anything. And it doesn't have this aspect really like with those lines and those ugly things, etc. It's ecological. There is this shape, there is this form. Because we had the canoon, I make this observation of the canoon, the way they use the canoon in Morocco, and I've designed this product. So it's totally different from what you see, and it works. Yeah? No, mais it's true. Hein? Ah ouais, the shade also. No, because comment ça s'appelle les parasols là? The shade, parasol. Oh, it's same in French. And you know, I say, okay, it's under the sun every day. So why not taking the energy from the sun and making light during the night? You open, you have a big bubble of light. And you see the process of thinking. Again, it's not trying to do product for 3 years. It's looking what is around us, finding the problems and trying to find the solution. Simple. This shelf, little, comment on dit, un clin d'œil for my mother, because it's at the name of my mother, Khanse, and she's not here. She was there in Dubai, when I was in Dubai. And it was because when I saw my mother when I was young, she put the books around her when she, you know, the books, lecture in the Arabic world, it's really, and she put all the books around her, and I remember my grandfather doing exactly the same. So I make this, you know, like a nice little memory of a young kid, of his mother. Tu vois ce que je veux te dire, quoi? Something like, and you're like floating on top of books, you know, and of the knowledge and everything. And it's, this, it works. You can't imagine how much books, Elle decoration in France, all the magazine in, it's been on these books also for the bookshelf. It's, people really like this creation. You know, for example, the heater, it's more complicated to understand. But this, they get it directly and they love it. Another picture of the bookshelf. Ah, yeah, this one is cool. The name of this one is because, you know, in Morocco we have Atlas, the big Atlas, the Moyen Atlas, and the little Atlas. And I took this form and I want to have a chair, but it's I don't have this, I want to have the laser, me too, là. There is not the laser? Ah, si. Si. Non, that's the mic. The laser. Non, mais c'est pas grave, c'est pas grave. But you see the form there, you know? And when it's like a sculpture, it's like mountains. And when you take the pillow and you put inside of the form, you have suddenly a chair, you can have a meridian, you can have a sofa. So it's like simple wood, mold, and suddenly when you put all the pillow together, you have the chairs and everything. And it's the same, it was when I was young and on, you know, the Salon Marocain, the Moroccan Salon. The way people sit, it's always different, you know, because they spend the time there talking. So it was this idea of having one thing and with modularity, we keep this idea. Another chair called the tarbouche. Structure, form, you see? Ben voilà. Talking about Stark, I talk about Stark, and he created this for Floss, the weapons. Huh? And me, I say, why not taking the same idea, but instead of having the occidental weapons, putting like the traditional Fantasia weapons and knife and stuff like that. And it's again this question about if we, I've seen the eyes of people when I show this work in France. They're like, what? What's going on? And it's more strong than what Stark does, because suddenly you can understand the reaction. For us, it's me, Fantasia, it's the beautiful guys running on the beautiful horse and blam in the same time. It's so magical. But when I show that in France, they're like, wow. They freak out. You understand the gap. And because I'm half French, half Moroccan, I see the reaction in both sides. Have this, like fish, double vision, from one side to the other. I'm a fish. This is the end of my presentation. I'm a fish. Woo! Well, I will talk about this project, and it's going to be my last one. You have to say, wow, when I show a picture like that. Next time, for the next one, you say, wow, in the same time. It's really grateful for me. And no, really, this, again, young Moroccan guy. One was working for Swarovski during 4 years. He was the head marketer and selling system for Swarovski. The other one is from HEC, is a big school in France. And they quit their job, 30 years old, quit their job, say, we want to do a food like my grandmother does, but for everyone. Now, really. And they were like, I remember talking to them because they contacted me to make the design of the place and everything. And I remember because I was saying to them, you're just crazy. Yeah, but we can eat pasta, we can eat, what else? All the international food. The couscous is the third food plates, the most known and appreciated in France. And there is any place where you can eat easily Moroccan product or Arabic product. We have in Tunisia also, And it's true that doesn't exist. So they had this idea. We started working. They put all the money they had in the project. 30 years old, everything they had. And lately, there is this concours, the competition in French, really known, about commerce and innovation. And the first prize is 750,000 euros. The second prize is 400,000 euros. So it's really famous. All the big brands are there. We were the only concept that doesn't exist, only 3D ideas. Other people were like with the shops, I have the shops there. We were the only one. And Moroccan, with Moroccan food, everything, in France, and we won the second prize. Now, imagine, it's incredible. 400,000 euros to develop the project. What I want to say, it's like, sometimes when we start working on something, and they are 30 years old, when I remember talking to people who have industry in Morocco, and trying, to ask them to say, you have the knowledge, you have everything, we can create a new brand. And they say to me, it doesn't work, it will never work, and we are stuck in the middle of, but give me the opportunity of showing you what we can do with it, and you will see it works, and it works. And we are always thinking that, yes, but if we are too much, it will never work. So perhaps, no. But it works. Second prize, we were completely the outsider of the competition. And we won the second prize. So imagine what does it mean. It means one thing. It means that, attention. Wow. Thank you. No, it means that it works. What I want to say from all this presentation, etc., and I'm gonna, well, you see other aspects of the same project. And what I want to say, it's the lost city of Arabesque. What I want to say for all that, it's the beginning when I talk about the history of design, the history of people, the way, etc., the process of thinking, the school, what the school taught me, voilà, taught me, new language, and taught me. It's you know, when I realized, you know, it's something like, you know, I remember when I was a student that I felt wrong. You know, I was like, yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying, and it works, but I don't know. No, you can't put words on it, but you're like, no, it doesn't work for me. There is something, I don't project myself, I don't project myself in this. And, you know, it's like really like, suddenly I try to do it my own way, to see, to be curious, you know, etc. And I try to really make the design and the product in this new way of perhaps thinking, of being, etc. And what I want to tell through this presentation, it's that it really works. That in the Arab world, what I told you, we are in the middle of something where everything is together to bring the innovation and the creativity. We have, of course, many things to change and etc. But me, I prefer always seeing the positive side of it. And it's true that there is this energy going on. And it works. If you go from the idea to the product, it really works. And people are really interested about what you do and the way you do it, you know, with the new process of thinking. So for the lost city of Arabesque, it's what I said when I was in Dubai, and I think it's still the same about this identity, because I know we love this topic. We always talk about identity. It's like identity. And it's, again, it's not a rock we carry for me. It's more a lens we see through. And for this lost city of Arabesque, we never lost this city. But this city is in every one of us who is here now, every one of us. And it's what we do, it's the creation we make, and it's the way we do it. Because a city, it's a community of people. When you talk about a city, it's people. It's not individuality, it's people. So it's what we do all together in this knowledge we have, the new vision that bring this city and, comment on dit, and appears this city. Tu vois ce que je veux dire? Bring this city to life. Yeah. No, I think you understand a bit the everything, all my ideas I just put, and it's really strong for me. Like really, everything you do, all the creation you can do if you're a student, anything, as long as you do it and you do it honestly, it works. It really works. Thank you. Merci. Continue. Because you know when I'm in this design agency, nobody applauds. You know when I come to the agency, they say, "Well, Younes, well." Yeah. So I really enjoy the moment. Well, you have questions. I'm prepared to hear all the questions, so go ahead. Why it's blue? This green. I'm going to drink.
First of all, thank you very much. I think the ideas you presented are very important. I have 3 comments. The first one is thank you very much for talking about common sense, because I think the most important thing for a designer is the common sense. Sometimes we look for a solution for a problem that's in front of us. However, we go all the other way. And if you look at a company which is like Apple, for example, they just design solutions and everybody follow them. They don't design solutions for the people to use
exactly
next year. So common sense, I think, that's a very important. Thank you for mentioning that. The second point I have is just the idea, the thought I would like to share with everybody, which is sometimes people see things differently. I mean, for the last 30 years, we've been looking at Kuwait TV logo, which is exactly the pattern you presented there for the bookshelf. And nobody thought that this could work as a bookshelf.
Ouais, exactement.
So people have different taste or different eye to things. You could see things and you make an opportunity out of it. And I'm sure you've seen that pattern and you made an opportunity out of it. The third point, and this is a little bit criticism, so I hope you can take some criticism. So that pattern, so for me, when I saw that pattern, it meant certain things to me. It meant that this is Arabic, it means that this is actually Islamic also.
Yeah.
And when I saw that this pattern has been used for Italian shoe brand, and later on has been used in clubs, I felt that this is a story that went wrong somehow. This is my opinion.
No, but you can have your
That's my opinion.
And you.
But I thought, you know, even though
I can go further. I can go further. Wait.
No, the point is maybe this is viewed by the Westerners, or I would say from different cultures.
Oh, but my screen, man. I want to talk with the guy.
I mean, in a different culture, they would have seen this as an exotic, you know, this is nice, Arabesque, beautiful. But I think that's my opinion, that the context that this design has been put in, I think it could have been put in a better context that would deliver the message.
Yeah, but you know, I understand what, and I can go further about it because I didn't talk about I got my iPad. Yes, iPad. Ouais, because... Ah, ben voilà, super. And it's an octagon. The form, 8, because in Islam, 8 doors. So I really go inside of that. But me, it's the culture. When I say Inshallah Maktub, it's about culture. You understand? So there is this religious aspect of it. I can understand, of course. But this religious aspect, it's my culture. It's also what I lived with and through. But, you know, it's the way I created it, how I created it, it with this idea of respect of the, you know, the shape, the form. After that, it lives by himself. You understand what I mean? And it's not about it's not being provocative or trying to. It's just about the act of creation. It's just about the act of making things a different way. You understand what I mean? And after that, the product lives by himself. You understand what I mean? So, me, I'm only in this process of creation, of creating. I got the lights here. Does it answer your question? Oh, again! Next week, all of you guys come to Marrakech, comme ça when I go to my office. Other question if you want. Huh? Ah. Non? To everybody? Ah, si, là-bas. Ah, là aussi.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
First of all, I would like to thank you for the wonderful speech. You're on the top of my list right now. And
Thank you.
I wanted to take your opinion on something. I'm just creating a new communication company in Kuwait. How can I relate that to product design? Or let's say, how can you give me any tips?
Product design?
In product design, in communication. I do want to relate them. Mainly the communication side I'm doing is based on the creative side, not anything traditional. Creative PR, creative marketing, creative online social media. So how can we get involved in the product design with the communication, let's say?
Product is for people. So of course you have to communicate about how the same way you communicate about many things, product is the same. But it's a good question because what I realize, and that's not the dark side, I'm not Dark Vador, but you know the other side of it, it's, you know, really, I've got a huge coverage in magazines, Arabic magazine or Occidental magazines and stuff like that. But 90% of the product I just show you are not produced. There is any company in the Arabic world. Look, it's again all the layers. In France, you have Cassina, Ligne Rosée, Cartel, Rocher-Beaubois. You have lots of brands of furnitures and stuff like that. You will see my point. Lots of furnitures. In the Arabic world, at the same level, we have nothing. There is no any brands who bring the designers in front, ask for innovation and creativity. And when you see in the Arabic world, we are the only place in the world now where we build buildings every week, houses every week. So I'm like, why there is no like a company or industry or stuff like that, a brand who can produce this stuff? So as, I don't know if it's your answer, but marketing and communication, it's perhaps to say that being innovating in the product design, being innovating and trusting design and product design will help company, will bring the, you understand what I mean, the things on above, beyond what the, voilà. So I think there is lots of marketing and communication about product design. It's to bring all those designers, because I'm not the only one, of course, but within industrial design and product design to in front of the scene and saying, you know, it's again the thing with artisanal, craft, and product design. I'm living in another perhaps things, but I don't work with craft. I never produce my stuff with craft. I loved craft. I live in Morocco. And it's beautiful, and I love talking to them because the knowledge is amazing. But me, I'm a product industrial designer. It's something else. So, for example, I've got the Moroccan government who contacted me and said, Younes, I want you to help the artisan to be creative and innovative. I say, man, they are creative. They are innovative. Everything they do, it's amazing. But who's going to help me as a product designer? You understand? It's like in France we have the VIA, we have in Germany, in England, you have lots of institutional, because they know that product design and industrial design make the image, the picture of the country, the innovation and the creativity and all that. So it's about marketing and communication. It's really something that is interesting. Speaking about that, about all this innovation and creation in product design. Voilà. C'est une mission chaud. Ouais. Ah.
Thank you for your lecture.
Attends. Vas-y. Now you can.
Thank you very much. Lecture. I have a question. It's not about design.
Yeah.
You are Métis.
Yeah.
Half
Ouais.
Moroccan, half French. How did you choose to be more Arab and not French?
I'm not. Alors, this is really good question, and no, it's true. You know, there is lots of magazines when they ask me, because they are like, yeah, but when you did this creation, it was more Moroccan or more French, you know? And I say it's like a brain. You have the left and the right side. The left side is the interpretation. The right side is the creative and innovation. But when you do something, when you take the bottle, can you tell me if it's the left or the right side of your brain who works? You don't know. It's something, you can't divine your brain and say, yes, this is my left brain who told me to take the bottle. This is my right who told me to drink. No, you can't say that. It's coming through your brain. And even if you know that there is some part of the brain or like really specific, you're not able to tell exactly what is this part who makes you do this. Me, it's exactly the same. Imagine my left is French. Imagine my right is Moroccan. There is no one more to the other. It's together, it makes me do design the way I am and the way I'm doing design. Voilà. I don't know.
Anyway, I'm glad you choose to be Arab, actually. Not French.
Hi, thank you for your talk. I wanted to ask you, when you design,
Yeah.
do you put in mind, like what Noor was saying about knowing your patron? So when you design something for, say, Morocco or the Arab world, do you put that in mind? And then when you're designing for France or Europe, do you also think about that?
Yeah, of course. No, it's true. Like when I've got a brief for my client, I'll always ask myself, okay, what they ask me, what I can do this, etc. But there is a thing. It's like, even if I'm young, because I'm really young, I've got 15 years old. And thank you. So, because it wasn't really good, but thank you. You know, the thing is like, because I started believing what I thought about design and product design, I've created the Zeli, etc. So the cool thing now, it's like my client, when they come to me, they said, I want a Younes Duret creation. So it's really, I have this, the cool thing that people come to me and say, yes, you know, the way you speak about that and you do this and you've done this, we want the same. So, you know, tu vois ce que je veux te dire? You understand? Like it makes, but it's true that always I think about what they want, what they need, how I can bring this, I can bring that, etc., without doing like, you know, okay, pattern, okay, no, okay, no. No, it's like I'm looking around me and then I put things together when I think it's good.
It's just because, like here, especially my problem with marketing and communication, in Kuwait, basically, they'd rather say hire someone from abroad rather than doing proper research on the market and what actually Kuwaitis or Arabs want. So we tend to do this. Oh, let's look at someone more successful than just going and saying, oh, what does the person here?
Yeah, I don't know if Salma is here. She's here, but is here. Because I had this discussion with her a few weeks ago, and it's a problem of references. Now, it's what I said, we don't have lots of many references. For example, when you're in France and you say that you're a designer, product designer, you use Stark. Jean-Marie Massot, Nathalie Crasset, les Radi designers, Jean-Louis Fréchin, Laurent Massalou. You have lots of people older than you who created things, and you can make the reference with them. But me, as a product designer, when I want to take references as industrial product design, I've got problem. I can't come to the guy and say, look, it works for him, so it can work for me. So you have to create those references. That's why I didn't wait for people to ask me to create a bookshelf. I've done it. I created, I've done a 3D, put on the web, thanks to the web, and then spread the word. Tu vois ce que je veux te dire? So create the references you will take to explain that it works. Tu vois ce que je veux te dire? Voilà. Voilà. Thank you. And thanks to... no, because it's cool. That's what I love about Nuqat, Kuwait, UAE, Saudi, Tunisia. Yeah, man. Yeah. Morocco. We are all together. And this is the creation. This is the city of Arabesque. Yeah. Thank you very much.